So let's recap the Week 5 quarterback performances of the SEC. And there's 4 guys I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on just because I think there were kind of 4 top performances that stood out. But I still want to touch on each guy or each conference game, if you will. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Let's talk about Auburn, LSU first. And before we talk about Bo Nix, because he's going to be one of the main guys we talk about, I want to talk about Max Johnson just a little bit because the LSU offense largely depends on what he can do for him right now because the run game is pretty much non-existent. So I think he actually had a pretty good game, throwing for 300 yards again, had a touchdown. I know in the second half kind of struggled a bit, but the defense is really able to kind of zone in, kind of hone in on what he's doing, and it's really kind of live or die by him. If he's able to make a big play or have a big special play to Butte, then good. If not, then the offense is pretty much shut down because of the run game. So I still think Max Johnson is a pretty good quarterback. I thought he played a pretty decent game. The second half, I know Auburn's defense was able to kind of have their will on him essentially, but I think if you get a run game going, I think you really see him take a big step. I think I'm not going to spend a bunch of time talking about Max Johnson, but I do think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's in the best situation right now. So Bo Nix, let's touch on Bo Nix first. Because he's, I think, in my opinion, had the best, I don't know about under the circumstances, the best performance from any quarterback in the SEC this week. And there were a few really good ones that we're going to talk about. But Bo Nix, kind of all the criticism or all the unknown in the air this past week about if he's going to start or not, came out and had, I think, a hell of a game. Even don't just look at the box score, but if you watch the game and just look how he was able to mentally stay in it and keep his team in it, even they were down by 9 late in the third quarter, that right there tells me more than just a box score. Box score, though, he was 23 of 44, 255 yards in the air, 74 yards on the ground, had 2 total touchdowns. Of course, 2 big touchdowns towards the end of the game to get in within 2 points, and then they had a rushing touchdown to take the lead. So Bo Nix, the quick takeaways from him was, his Johnny Manziel abilities, right? Running all over the field, making awesome type plays, just very unorthodox off-platform throws. That was the big takeaway, but the throw we're about to watch here, I think, is the product of being comfortable. Sometimes it takes you using some of your athleticism and running around a bit to get comfortable, and then he was able to get comfortable, and he made some big throws in the pocket. And I think you'll be able to see more of that and see that confidence kind of come back because this throw here is a really good, mature throw. We're going to see a back shoulder throw against a cover 1 defense at very good man coverage as well. So we're going to dive into this clip of Bo Nix. Again, I think it was the ability to run around and get confident that led to this type of throw, and I think you'll see more and more throws like this over time. And the thing with him, you do want to get a higher completion percentage, you want more completed throws, but I think that could come, and you'll take the W if you are Auburn. So let's go ahead and look at Bo Nix's clip real quick. So at this point in the game, Auburn is down 19-10, about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. It's a 2nd and 10, and we're going to see a great, confident back shoulder pass to this wheel route or kind of out and up route from Bo Nix. So it's not one of these scrambling clips that he did so much of on Saturday, or the running clips he did so much of on Saturday. But I think a lot of the success scrambling and kind of getting into the flow of things actually helped with some confident throws from the pocket. I think you'll see more of that the more comfortable he gets. So right here, he sees he got 7 in the box. No, he's probably not going to run here because you got 6 on 7 right here. And then we got cover 1, man under across the board. So we got man, then we got a safety way deep here. So good decision by Bo Nix throwing back shoulder. We're going to watch it here. LSU only brings 4, right? We're manned up across the board. Still pressure coming in. Good throw from the right hash to the left side of the field. Throwing back shoulder here. Can't lead him because one of the corners on top, safety's up top here. Good, confident throw that I think stemmed off of the success that Bo Nix was having. Great game for Bo Nix again. So next quarterback we're going to talk about is Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, who was able to help lead Alabama to a big win against Ole Miss by score 42-21. It could have been a lot more if they decided to run it up and play how they played in the first half. Anyways, Bryce Young was 20 of 26 for 241 yards in the air, 9.3 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the clip we're going to watch here is why I think he's such an anomaly compared to most of the quarterbacks. So it makes him really special, and his ability to not have to set his feet to throw. And I'm not talking about, just off-platform throws, even though maybe technically it is, but it's within the pocket. It's perfect. It's great protection. There's no need to move around, and he's still able to throw without getting his feet set just as accurately as if his feet were set. So most quarterbacks can't do this, but something Bryce Young does extremely well, and you saw him do it several times against Ole Miss, and you've seen him do it several times throughout the season. So again, not a huge game statistically, I can't talk, but they didn't need a huge game from him. Let's go ahead and check out this clip against Ole Miss. So here is Bryce Young's touchdown pass at the end of the second quarter to put Alabama on the board 7-0. We're going to see the ball is to Mechie here, right? Everyone that watched the game remembers kind of the back of the end zone, deep drag here. Good job up front, first and foremost by Alabama's offensive line. Ole Miss brings 3, they drop 8, and so you need time to develop. They give Bryce Young that time, but what's impressive, like we talked about, is not having to set his feet, right? You got plenty of time. So for most quarterbacks, we've talked about this being the anomaly, you want to set your feet and throw. Young does not need to set his feet to throw. I don't even know if I'd call this off platform. You hear so many people talk about that, but I just don't think he needs to set his feet to throw, right? Boom. There's a strike right there. Let's see if we can run it just a hair. We'll watch it kind of full speed here. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Going through progressions. Stops. He sees Mechie about to come open. Doesn't need to set his feet. Touchdown. So shows a good arm here, and just shows the ability to throw from any position. But again, most quarterbacks, when you're in the pocket, that clean of a pocket, you step into your throw, you keep your feet set. But for Bryce Young, he does not need to set his feet to throw. So just a good example of him throwing a good ball and doing things a little bit differently than most quarterbacks. Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers had over 400 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in their upset win against Texas A&M. And yes, Mike Leach's offense is a lot of dink and dunk. That's what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to like bore the defense essentially, then take a shot whenever the shot comes up. But you still have to be accurate, even though it's high percentage type throws. He was 46 to 59. That's a completion percentage at 77, which even in small or short throws is very impressive. But the clip I want to watch here is him throwing downfield, because he does have that ability whenever it's called upon. It's just the offense he's in doesn't need that all the time, right? It doesn't run off deep shots. It's run off completions, short completions. That's basically the run game. So good game for Will Rogers to lead that upset win, even against A&M's backup quarterback. Let's go ahead and check out this throw downfield, because it shows us potential of what you could see more of, or what you do see whenever the Mike Leach air raid is humming. You're able to see these throws because these short dink dunk throws set up these type of throws. Let's go ahead and check this throw out from Will Rogers. So here's Will Rogers hitting a deep dig route to this slot receiver right here. And like we talked earlier, a lot of Mississippi State's offensive schemes and what their passing plays are a lot of the short underneath stuff just to get your guys the ball in space. But here's a good ball by Rogers downfield. We're going to see this backer try to get there in time. He does not. We got one up top safety, about 18 yards off line scrimmage. So right off the bat, he knows, hey, the middle of the field is going to be open underneath the middle of the field. Now, even though usually your cover twos or your middle of the field type throws, you can still hit underneath middle of the field throws with one up top safety, 18 plus yards. So we see Rogers here. Does a good job. Initially looks this way. Now you see his eyes coming back. This is where the zone shot's going to be. Good ball by Rogers there. Big play there for Mississippi State. It was 10-10 at the time at the beginning of the second quarter, but a good example of Will Rogers being able to push it more downfield whenever Mississippi State does need to. Fourth guy we're going to talk about is quarterback Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, and he had 4 total touchdowns in their blowout win against Missouri. So very efficient passing the ball. They didn't really need to pass because they had over 450 yards rushing, which he had 80 yards on the ground, but still did a great job passing. Did exactly what he needed to do against the Missouri defense. He was 15 to 19, 225 yards passing, 3 TDs passing, 80 yards on the ground, and 1 touchdown on the ground. So let's go ahead and watch this Hendon Hooker clip. This was his first touchdown of the game before it was a blowout, and it's a real good read. You'll see him move the safety outside, so he's able to hit a deep shot here. Good read, which you like to see from Tennessee's or from Hendon Hooker as the season progresses. They got a tough South Carolina defense coming up this weekend, but good overall performance by Hendon Hooker. Here's Hendon Hooker's first touchdown pass of the game. This is beginning of the game at 0-0. But Tennessee's already had a few solid running plays, so Missouri's already kind of creeping up. You can kind of see the safety shoot here. He's creeping up here. So it's going to be a good deep shot over the middle of the field here. We'll shoot right off the bat. You can't see the safety. But it's going to be a good, accurate ball. Downfield. Boom. So we see the safety coming over here. So the safety took this deep dig route here. Good read by Hendon Hooker. And then throwing a good ball. Yes, he's open, but not open by much. So it takes an accurate throw downfield. You can see the ball right here. But to land for a touchdown. So good read by Hooker to see that safety take the dig route and then throw an accurate ball downfield. And this was before it became a blowout against Missouri. So good job to get Tennessee on the board early by Hooker. So just to recap, our top 4 performances for quarterbacks in the SEC this week were Bo Nix from Auburn, Bryce Young, Alabama, Will Rogers, Mississippi State, and Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. No particular order. Y'all know we don't do a ton of rankings here, but those are kind of my top 4 performances. Let's recap the other guys real quick. I know we talked about Max Johnson, KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, really nothing going on. Stetson Bennett from Georgia didn't need to do anything as Georgia blew Arkansas out. Florida and Kentucky. Kentucky was able to win despite not even having 100 yards passing from Will Levis. Emory Jones had his moments. That interception at the end of the game really hurt them as they were down. That eventually put them down by 2 scores. I think Kentucky got that field goal, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But still, there are some times he was playing well. That interception did hurt. There was no like explosive plays that they really had. So Kentucky did a good job containing explosive plays. And I think that is actually it. Yeah, A&M Zach Calzada kind of is what he is, right? Nothing really going on there. You kind of know what to expect. And then Missouri, Connor Bazelak, they were down by a ton, and nothing really going on there as they got blown out by Tennessee by almost like 40 points, I think. But I wanted from you, what do you think about the SEC quarterback play this week? There wasn't a ton of huge performances like the past previous weeks, but still 4 really good games. Let me know in the comments below. We'll see you next time when we do our SEC preview of Week 6.